Hello everybody, welcome to another lesson. This lesson is on minor scales and keys, and it's a guide to recognising and writing minor scales and keys. It's to improve musicianship, as all the other lessons, and it is geared up towards any students who are intending to sit the grade 5 examinations in theory of music for any of the recognised boards. Now, to continue with this lesson, it is most important that you do understand your major keys. And if you're not sure your major keys, please go to another lesson in this series that will explain all about that to give you the information that's required for this particular lesson. Okay, so what is a minor scale? Each major scale has a younger or a little brother or sister, sibling, that we call the relative minor. Now, this relative minor shares exactly the same key signature as its larger or bigger sibling. So the little brother has got exactly the same key signature as the big brother, or the little sister has got exactly the same key signature as the big sister. That's the easiest way to think about it. So for example, we know that the scale of C major, or the key of C major, doesn't have any sharps or flats in its key signature. So its relative minor will also have no sharps or flats in its key signature. Now that's the same as a different scale. For example, A flat major has 4 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat and D flat in its key signature. So also its relative minor, the little brother or sister, will also have these flats in its key signature, exactly the same. So how do we find each of the major keys' relative minor? In other words, how do we find the minor scale or key that shares the same key signature as the major? So if we know, for example, that E major has 4 sharps, well, how do we know which minor scale is its little brother or sister, its relative minor? So let's have a look at this picture. You can see at the bottom of the little set of stairs, there's the baby, the younger sibling, and it has to go up 3 steps to find the bigger sibling. Or if you're the bigger sibling, the major is 3 steps higher than the smaller sibling, the little sibling, the minor. So the minor and the major are 3 steps away from each other. So to be more musical about it, therefore we can see from the picture that the major scale, or the key, that has the same key signature as the relative minor is 3 steps up from the minor. Now, to explain further, let's have a look at some examples. Let's say, for example, you were asked to write out the scale of A minor. We need to find the key signature. So what you would do is you have to find the major scale with the same key signature. So to do this, you count up 3 steps. Now when I say steps, we're talking about semitones. So if you look at the diagram on the slide, there's the A. It takes 1 step to find an A sharp or a B flat. It takes the second step to become a B, and the third step would be the note C. So therefore, A minor has the same key signature as C major. Here's another example, E minor. We want to find out what the key signature for E minor has got, so we take the 3 semitone steps. So the note E, we take 1 step to F, the second step to F sharp, which is the same enharmonic as G flat, and the third step takes us to the note G. So therefore, E minor has exactly the same key signature as G major. G major's key signature is an F sharp, so therefore E minor's key signature will also be an F sharp. Let's look at another one. B flat minor. B flat is the tonic of the key we want to find the key signature for, so we take 3 semitone steps. B flat to B would be 1, to C would be 2. Now the third step takes us to a choice of 2, either C sharp or D flat. So which one do we choose? Now, The obvious thing was to say that B flat, it has to be D flat because they both got flats, but actually there's more than that. The correct answer will be D flat. But the easiest way to remember it is that when you're taking the steps, it must also be inclusively 3 semitones. I do beg your pardon, 3 letter names. So if we go from B flat, or the letter B, to the letter D, that's 3 letter names inclusively. If we were regarding it as C sharp, it would only be 2. Now, that is called a minor third interval. If you're not familiar with intervals, then please visit the lesson that's about intervals. So now it comes to writing the minor scale. We've got an idea how we find the major key, the relative major, to understand what key signature it shares. So let's use A minor as an example now to write this scale out. First, you would write the raw notes out, just like when we did the major lessons, major scales. Then we write A to A, and as you can see the example, I've done it ascending and descending. Now we then we insert the key signature of the major scale that is 3 steps up from the note A. So from A to A sharp or B flat is 1 step, semitone, 1 step to B, and the 3rd step goes to C. So therefore A minor has the same key signature as C major, no sharps or flats. Now, unlike major scales and keys, there is actually types of minor scale, and these are called natural minor, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. Now, it doesn't matter what type of minor scale you're going to be required to write out. You still find exactly the same major steps that we took before to find the key signature. So all the types of minor find the key signatures in exactly the same way. You count up 3 steps, or that minor third interval we were talking about. They only differ in the added accidentals that you're going to put in as well as the key signature. Now look at the word added. So let's start with the natural minor. The natural minor doesn't actually have any added accidentals. So therefore all you do is you write out the notes of A to A, and you'd insert the same key signatures at its relative major, which we found before by going up 3 semitones is C major. So therefore it has no sharps or flats. So in the examples you can see written down, all it is A to A with no sharps or flats and nothing added. Now you may ask yourself, well, isn't this the same as the scale of C major, but just starting from a different note? Well, the answer would be yes. Now this is called, when we do this, when we start a major scale, for example, from a different note that isn't a tonic, we call it a mode in the key of C. Now this particular example would be what we call an A Aeolian mode. But because this is aimed at grade 5, modes will be covered within a different lesson for a different standard of theory. So now we come to the harmonic minor. The difference between the natural minor and the harmonic minor is that in the harmonic minor we must go to the 7th degree and we must add an accidental that raises that 7th degree, or the leading note of the scale. So you would exactly the same as the relative of the natural minor. You would write out the notes of A to A. You would insert the same key signature as you did for the natural minor from the relative major, in other words C major. But then you would then identify the 7th degree of the scale, the leading note, and insert the correct accidental that will raise it by 1 semitone. So as you can see in this example, we've counted up to the 7th degree, which is the note G, and because there's no key signature to indicate, we then add the sharp sign to raise that natural G to a sharp, and you can see that's going up and it's also coming down. Now the third type is called the melodic minor scale. Now this scale, like the natural minor, like the harmonic minor, you find the key signature in exactly the same way. You go up 3 semitones from the tonic to find the relative major, and you insert the same key signature. In other words, this is A melodic minor. The key signature is the same as its relative major C, which has no sharps or flats. But the added accidentals you then need to add is you need to identify the 6th and 7th degrees of the ascending scale, the submediant and the leading note, and you insert the correct accidental that will raise it again by 1 semitone, in this case sharp signs. Now, did you notice I said in only the ascending part of the scale? The descending melodic minor is actually exactly the same as a natural minor. You don't raise the 6th and 7th on a descending melodic minor, only on the ascending. So here's all the 3 versions of the same minor scale, the same A minor. You can see from the first one, the natural minor. We write the notes from the tonic A up to the tonic A and back down again. We go up 3 steps to find the relative major, which is C major, no sharps or flats, so that's why there aren't any in the key signature. Now, as it's the natural minor, there are no added accidentals. We look at the second example, the harmonic minor. You can see on the face of it, it looks exactly the same key signature as C major, A to A, but this time we have to add the accidental that raises the 7th degree, both ascending and descending. In this case, the G sharp. The third example, a melodic minor, again exactly the same as the other 2, A to A and back again, same key signatures as relative major, C major, no sharps or flats, but this time we have to raise the 6th and 7th just ascending. So in this case you can see the F sharp and the G sharp in the ascending part of the scale, and then just the G natural and F natural when it's coming down again. So let's have a look at some other examples. C sharp natural minor. We write out the notes of C to C, both ascending and descending or whatever. You count up 3 semitones from C sharp. So when we go from C sharp up a minor third or 3 semitones, it becomes a note E. So therefore, key signature for E major, 4 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp is exactly the same key signatures we want to use here for its relative minor. And you can see them in the key signature. As it's a natural minor, that's it. No more added accidentals. Just C sharp minor with the same key signature as E major. Second example, F harmonic minor. Write the notes of F to F, either ascending, descending, or both, whatever is required. Count up the 3 semitones, a minor third from F, you'll find you land on an A flat. So that's A flat major. Insert the same key signatures, A flat major, B flat, E flat, A flat and D flat. And then because it's the harmonic minor, it has the 7th degree raised. So in this particular case, the E flat has to be risen to a natural sign. And you can see that both ascending and descending. Third example, G sharp melodic minor. Write out the notes of G to G, ascending, descending, or both, whatever is required. Count up your minor thirds, your 3 semitones from G sharp. You will land on the note B. That's B major. Insert key signature for B major, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp and A sharp. Now this time, for the melodic, you have to raise the 6th and 7th degrees just ascending. You'll notice in this case the E natural becomes E sharp and the F sharp has to become F double sharp. So you notice that the double sharp, to raise the already sharpened 7th degree, that's not an issue. Don't be frightened to use double sharps. You'll also notice on the descending version that because of the bar line, the F that's right next to the G, because of the key signature, is now F sharp, and the E is the E natural rather than E sharp on the descending version. on the ascending version. Now, just things to be careful about, especially if you're sitting in an exam, because quite regularly questions come up very similar to these where students make exactly the same mistakes. Okay, so here's an example of some of the things that students consistently do wrong, especially when doing examinations. Okay, so the example would be to write the scale as C harmonic minor ascending without a key signature. Okay, so when we're writing the scales that don't require a key signature, okay, in other words, you've got to remember to keep the key signature in mind, but also the rule for accidentals. The rule for accidentals are that the accidental is placed in front of a note and it alters that note for the duration of the bar only. Okay, and of course any notes of exactly the same pitch that follow within that bar are also altered in accordance with the accidental, but as soon as the bar line comes, then if you want the same note in the next bar to be altered, you have to put another sign. Okay, so let's have a look at using C harmonic minor. So when you write the C to C, observing the correct clef of course, because I've used treble on all of these, they can become on any clef that's required for grade 5, such as the bass, the alto or the tenor, etc. Okay, so we've observed the treble clef, we've gone C to C. We count up our 3 semitones, the minor third, to find the relative major, the big brother with the same key signature. So we find when we go from C, we land on E flat major, which has got B flat, E flat and A flat. So we pencil in those 3 flats. Again, we don't not using a key signature, so we're using accidentals. You'll see there's the first one in the running order of E flat, next one in running order the A flat, and then the B flat in the last bar. So after we've done the C to C, we've put in the correct key signature, it was the same as its relative major, E flat. And now we think about, well, what type of minor was it? It's a harmonic minor, which means you raise the 7th. So when you count up the 7th degree, the B flat now becomes B natural. Okay, is that correct? It's actually not. So why wasn't that correct? We followed all the rules. Well, the reason is because although you've got your key signature in mind, there is no key signature at the start. So is there any actual reason to put a natural sign in front of that B note? Because there's nothing in the key signature to tell you that it should be flat. So there's no reason to put a natural sign in. Okay, so it should actually look like the second one. You'll notice the E flat is in there, the A flat is in there, and the B flat it would normally have, we're raising it to become B natural. We don't need to put the natural sign in because of course there isn't a key signature that tells us to flatten the B. Another common mistake, here's the scale of A harmonic minor, where you need to raise the 7th degree. So looking at the first one, which is the 7th degree, did you think it was the note B? If you're counting along, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's the note B. No, because of course the scale is descending. So therefore it's like a set of stairs. If we go up, starting at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 8th, the tonic at the top, then when we start to come down again, we're not going 1, 2, 3 from the top, we're going 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So therefore the same as here. The 7th degree, or the leading note of the scale, in this particular case, is shown is the G, and that's the note that needs to be raised. Now, sometimes you're asked to write out a scale that doesn't give you any sort of indication of rhythm. There's no time signature, there's no bar lines, etc. So if you're asked to do a melodic minor scale, both ascending and descending, that doesn't have a time signature or bar lines, you remember to put the raised 6th and 7th degrees going up, but when you're coming down again and descending, you must put them back to normal again before you've altered them. This is because of the accidental rule. The whole line, although there's no bar lines in it, is regarded as one big bar. So for example, you've raised the F to F sharp ascending, then coming down again, the F, if I didn't put the natural sign in, would be regarded still as F sharp. And similar with the E. Going up, we have to raise it to become E natural because of the key signature. But then coming back down again, we we must remember that it has to be put back again, because otherwise it's classed as being in the same bar. It would still remain natural, so we have to flatten it again. So please be aware of a G melodic minor, for example, ascending and descending with the key signature. Raise it going up, remember to put it back to normal descending. Now I hope that's helped you with minor scales and keys. That is particularly for grade 5. There's an awful lot more if you're going for higher grades or you want to utilise some of that information for other types of music and other parts of musicianship. And if you've enjoyed and you've helped you a lot in that particular lesson, go and have a look at some of the others that I've done that may be helpful as well. Thanks for listening.